Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on the Roll Stable podcast. However you're watching or listening, we appreciate you taking the time to check us out. Today we have episode number 10 of the podcast, and with the end of the semester fast approaching, this will be the last episode until the new year. So whether this is your first time listening, you've checked out all 10 episodes, I just want to say thank you for making these first 10 episodes a success. With that, time for a quick recap of the week that was in UCM athletics. Starting on the basketball court, where the Jennies went 2-0 with wins at Northwest Missouri and Missouri Western. Jennies held both opponents below 50 points in two great defensive efforts. Mules, however, dropped each of their games on the road against the Bearcats and the Griffins. Cameron Hunter scored 23 points in each game. UCM track and field got started, sending their multi-event athletes to Doane College for the Happy Holidays multi-meet. Hannah Van Buskirk and Kayla Goodwin finished first and second for the Jennies, and Trey Miller and Garrett Francis were first and second for the Mules. All four Mules who competed hit personal best scores in the heptathlon. Van Buskirk's and Goodwin's pentathlon scores would have put them in the top three in Division II last indoor season. Hannah Van Buskirk also named the United States Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association Division II Female Athlete of the Week this week. And that's going to bring us to today's interview. This afternoon we have Jennies Bowling Senior from Jalisco, Mexico, Jackie Garcia-Ulloa. Jackie, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for inviting me.
How did I do with that pronunciation?
Really good.
That was good?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I didn't want to screw anything up there.
Okay.
So, end of the semester, how was your first couple of months here in 2020? With bowling, with school, just kind of how have you been since?
For this fall semester, I guess it has been rough, for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the COVID. We haven't had time to go bowling. Our season started in October. We didn't have the time. The GLBC approved for us to bowl, but our president said it's better for us because they didn't require testing. So
the GLBC didn't require testing.
Didn't require testing.
Mm-hmm.
So President Best said it was better for all of us that we were only allowed to go tournaments that everybody was tested.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no tournaments this semester that had all the teams tested.
Yeah,
there was 5 tournaments. 2 got canceled. So
I heard from some GLVC schools they were gonna compete a little bit in, I can't remember if it was October or November. I know they got one in. I didn't know how many they ended up getting in, if it was a couple, but I don't think there was a whole lot of bowling that took place this fall.
They got, did I remember 2? One in St. Louis, kind of like Chicago, but like McHenry Bearcats area, and the other one in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it, because 2 of them got canceled. We don't know the reasons. They never said the reasons, but probably COVID spread.
COVID-related, yeah. I also heard that part of the reasons that we didn't go is because some of these facilities were also allowing just the general public to come in and bowl as well at the same time as the collegiate competition would be going on. Is that something that you guys are used to? Is that kind of common where you'll be bowling competition and then maybe a couple of lanes down there'll be some
spectators,
just regular,
yeah.
Not even just spectators, but other people bowling, not necessarily fans, just people from town, this is what I want to do on a Saturday afternoon. Let's go bowl, and they're bowling next to you.
Yeah, it depends on the tournament and how big is the bowling alley. And also depends on the school that is hosting the tournament, how they want to set up things. For normally D1 schools don't let, because they can afford the whole bowling alley and they will just not leave people in.
Out, yeah.
But normally for the McKendree one, we have had some people just bowling on the sides. But normally like on the corners, we're kind of set up in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really bother us that much. We don't really pay attention to it. We're in our own thing.
Yeah, just very, very interesting to think about. You wouldn't anticipate being a volleyball match going on and 2 spaces over. There's just a recreation volleyball game going on at the same time. So you're from Jalisco, Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about growing up in Mexico, what that was like.
Well, it's really different than coming here. I grew up in a really family, I'm really close to my family, good food, school, basically, everything's kind of the same. Mm-hmm. Sometimes my times and eating times are really different. The environment is different. It's just cultural difference a lot. People tend to I know I think it's way easier probably because I speak the language to express myself over there than here, but
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of it was nice. I had a nice childhood, I guess.
And it's on the western part of Mexico. Is that right?
I'm south, like middle west coast, kind of
Middle
like
West Coast.
yeah,
I think I looked it up on Wikipedia. Guadalajara is the capital.
yeah. I live like 10 minutes from there. It's
Okay.
kind of more like it's kind of like a Warrensburg, not Noster thing, Zapopan and Guadalajara.
Okay, so
Kinda, like,
that's pretty
super
close.
close. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have 1.5 million people in Zapopan, so coming here was a shock. I was like,
It's just
where's everyone?
about 10 to 20,000
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, it was kind of different.
So do you like going into Kansas City or St. Louis where it's a more populated area?
Yeah, I'm more of a city person.
Mhm.
It's kind of, I'm more used to having more things around me.
And what do you, besides from the people, miss most about Mexico?
The food, 100% the food. I have some food here, but it's not close to be
So
the same.
the 5 or 6 Mexican restaurants in town aren't cutting it for you?
No, not really. It's really big difference, and that's the thing I kind of miss the most, and I take advantage more when I'm home.
And,
Besides my family, of course.
and you still have your family down there, you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how often do you get to go back?
I go back normally during Christmas break and summer, which are big times because the flights get to $700, so it's not worth it to go just for Thanksgiving and come back. So I tend to spend Thanksgiving and spring break over here. Spring break,
Okay.
normally we have bowling, so I don't have to
Right.
get to go anywhere, but just during big breaks.
And what maybe surprised you the most about your first time coming to the U.S. or Missouri or Warrensburg?
I have a list, I guess.
Go ahead, let's run through it.
It was a cultural shock, of course. Starting with the language, I knew English, but I had a really formal English, so people wanna like texting me slang, and I was like, I don't know what you're saying. I'm so sorry. Or people trying to talk really fast to me, and I was so confused. I was like, I don't know what you're saying. I just said yes, because sometimes I ask what so many times that I feel bad, and I just say like, yeah.
So they taught you some English in school?
Yes, when I was a kid, I lived 1 year in San Jose, California, because my dad got transferred for work, but it was only 1 year, so it kind of helped me, and I was young, so I think it's easier to learn the language when you're young.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it kind of helped me a lot. And then in school, I had some subjects in English, like kind of physics and English, and they taught us English a lot, so that helped me. I was not as bad.
So it wasn't
coming
so
here.
much of an elective type class. Like when I was growing up, I had the choice. Oh, do you want to you take a foreign language? Do you want to take Spanish? Do you want to take French? You were basically you're going to take English.
Yeah, for me, my kindergarten was all in English, and then when I went to high school, they forced me to take a third language. So it was Spanish, English, and then you had elective to choose to French or Chinese. Okay. And I was like, okay, not Chinese, French. Yeah, I didn't have a choice.
But you actually said before we came on that you were born in Japan.
Yeah.
Did you spend much time there before going to Mexico?
Not really. My dad worked for IBM, and he got transferred over there. It was like kind of a year and a half. My mom was already pregnant, so I got the luck to be born over there. I don't know Japanese at all. I know a couple of words, but then my mom taught me, but that's about it. We came back, and most of my life have been living in Mexico.
So at what point did you kind of think that you wanted to continue your education in America?
Okay, so I'm here because of a friend that just one day I was like bowling at a regular league, and she told me, hey, she texted me and she was like, oh, are you interested in like bowling in the United States? I never had the idea. I was already a senior in high school. No, I was a junior in high school. And I never thought about it. I made my life in Mexico, everything. But she was looking at UCM, and she ended up going to Nebraska. Her name is Raquel. She told me, oh, have you thought about it? The coach from UCM, he wants a left-handed bowler. So I said, well, yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to lose, so I said yes. And then Coach Ron texted me, and it didn't get real until kind of like when I signed the papers.
Sure.
Because my parents were like, "Nah, you're not going." Like
Something's gonna happen. It's not gonna work out. It's not gonna work out.
yeah, they were like not. They thought it was like a joke or something. I don't know, and I didn't take it serious until like kind of like signed the papers, and my parents were like, "Wow, like
Oh, this is
you're
really
going, yeah, it's
happening."
happening." Yeah, it was fun.
So there really wasn't too much of a recruitment process for you. It was a friend of yours, "Hey, do you want to bowl at UCM?" And that was kind of it.
Yeah, I never. Well, after that, I kind of like look other options, but because I wanted to study engineering, my options were kind of like narrow. Not all schools have them that have bowling, so I kind of like saw Bandy and then Sam Houston, but I kind of made my mind before about UCM, so I just decided to stay there. And Ron was always so nice with me, so that helped me a lot.
You mentioned some schools already, Nebraska, Vanderbilt, Sam Houston State. Bowling is very unique in that you go head to head with so many other schools at one time, and so many of them are Division I schools. Do you even think about that stuff when you're bowling, about Division II versus Division I, or is it really just everyone's kind of a bowler? We're all kind of the same skill level.
I don't. We don't really take it, but because bowling we don't have that many, so we can divide Division II and Division I, so we all play together. But we don't see it that way. Probably the only difference you will see is that they probably have more fancy stuff, that they have like more apparel or stuff like that. But bowling wise, not really. Like a lot of schools, D1 schools have to go to an outside bowling alley. We don't have to, and we're D1. We're D2, sorry. So it's not really. It's just more, what school do you feel more at home? It's not really about like D1 or D2.
Right. When did you start, bowling? You said you were bowling as you were growing up in Mexico, and that's, with your friend Raquel.
I started bowling late too. I started bowling when I was around like 11 years old. All my family bowls, but they don't bowl professionally. They just bowl for fun, league bowling. But I never thought about it until like I had to be a sub for my grandpa because he was gonna have surgery.
Just in like this recreation
yeah,
weeknight
he
league
told
or
me
something.
just take my place. Doesn't matter that you're really bad. I'm like, okay, I'm warning you. I'm really bad. So after that, it was a really hard surgery. So he had a year to recover. So I took a year, and then the next year, there was like national, no, kind of like state championships, and my uncle signed me in without me knowing. So he told me like, oh, you're going in, and I made the team. I don't know how. We went to nationals, and after that I really loved the competition and like the people, the environment. It was really fun. I had so much fun, so I just decided to stay and practice more.
Did you play any other sports growing up?
Yeah, I used to play basketball in high school, primary school, junior high, and then high school. I left it in high school, but I felt I was better at bowling than basketball. I was really aggressive, so I said no. I think bowling is for me, and I had so much fun, and I had more success in bowling that I did in basketball, so I just decided to stay there.
But you still never thought of pursuing maybe a scholarship or something to bowl at a school until you're talking with Raquel, and then she set you up with Coach Holmes?
Yeah, I never thought about it at all.
That's quite a story.
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
I really never. It was just it was destiny, I guess. I never really thought about it.
So we talked earlier this fall. You couldn't get out on the road. We have our own bowling alley, which is nice, and we actually had some virtual meets, kind of with some other schools. What are those like?
It's kind of weird. I mean, I think it gives you more. It gives you less stress because kind of you're with your team and that's it, and run. And you don't like look at the TV that much, so I feel it's like less stress than what actually is. So it was fun. It was kind of fun to go back in the routine of being in tournament and kind of help us out.
You kind of made it
for
feel
January
just a little bit different than a normal practice day.
Yeah, kind of more competition style, just to refresh our memories about how it's gonna be next semester.
Right. I mean, and speaking of next semester, do you think there'll be some more of those virtual meets? Are we going to get some actual in-person competition?
Well, everything is so uncertain right now that we don't really know. According to what our coach has told us is that we are going to have tournaments. We're going to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Up to now, we only have two that for sure that we know they're going to be tested because our rules still the same because GLBC hasn't changed their rules. But we only have two by now, and I think Coach Holmes is trying to find more tournaments during like instead of going in the weekend, going in the middle of the week, like kind of like golf style does.
Okay, right.
So there's more people tested, but it also depends on school and how if they can afford it or not.
Now, I don't know if this is fortunate or unfortunate. The Jennies Bowling team, we brought a large number of the travel roster back from last year, so this was setting up to be a pretty good year for Jennies Bowling. Can you talk about maybe some of the team goals and bringing everybody back and what the expectations are for the team once you actually do get into some competition?
Well, our team is the same from last year, so that's good because we don't have to adapt of other people's style of bowling. Kind of we know our routine, we know how we work together. The only one that we lost last year was Katie. There's big
Right.
shoes to fill right
Huge
there.
shoes. She left
in the fall semester. Yeah.
Though, so you were.
In January, we kind of adapt ourselves without Katie, but it was big shoes to fill because she was kind of our best player.
She was
she
such
was an
a great
amazing
bowler.
player. So I think it was an advantage for us that we didn't have to change our setup or our team members. We had new ones coming, but the fact that we are 4 seniors, so we kind of four.
It's so hard to keep track of who's
Yeah,
getting extra years back and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's 4, so we kind of have the knowledge about the 3 years past. So I think we're in a good place for this year.
Mm-hmm. And you were already, I think, ranked second among Division II and 3 teams and top 15 among all schools overall.
Yeah.
Last year you were set to compete at the GLVC Conference Championships when kind of COVID struck. This was your first year in the GLVC. What were kind of your thoughts and emotions as that got canceled and you realized you weren't going to get to bowl anymore for the rest of the 2020 year?
Well, it was sad. I mean, it was really hard because we were in a really good spot. We were going to make it in nationals because they changed the way they were going to do nationals. They're going to do I don't know. It was kind of weird. Instead of having 16 teams in the finals, they were only going to have the final 4. They're just going to do like a bracket kind of stuff, and we were going to make it.
Okay.
So we were kind of disappointed that we didn't have the chance for that. GLBC was also a good part. We were going for that championship because we always have that battle with McKendree.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we wanted it. It was kind of sad, and it kind of hit us all. We were kind of disappointed that we didn't have to play.
Yeah, McKendree, they've been the top team in the league for a while. Were you a part of the Jennies team when Jennies won the first ever MIAA championship?
I was. I came in the next year.
You were here the next
Yeah.
year. Okay, I wasn't too sure, but yeah, Jennies have still, they've beaten McKendree before in tournaments and stuff, and it kind of goes back and forth. What is kind of that rivalry like with the Jennies and McKendree?
It's tough, I guess. Both of us want to win, and for me, I think they believe they're better. They kind of have the idea that they're better, so they're gonna defeat us really easily. And that's when we kind of attack. That when they let their guard down,
Okay.
and we kind of go for them and we win. I don't think it's kind of hard. Bowling is really mental game for me, so it's more about how you're feeling, the confidence that you have, than what it really is when you throw the ball. It's practice, but there's I will say 80% mental game. If you come on strong, your outcome will be good.
All right, so you just mentioned something that I find very interesting, kind of the mental aspect of the game. How much of bowling is overcoming that kind of mental challenge, that mental adversity, when it's really, it's just you and the ball and the pins in front of you? How much of the game is focusing and getting over maybe a mental barrier?
I will say 80%. It's mental. You have practice. You know the way you want to throw the ball. You know everything. But at that point, somebody tells you, hey, you need the strike or we're losing. Everything comes to your mind. It's up to me. It's just so nerve-wracking, I guess. You have to be really mentally strong to make it that type of comments don't affect you. So it has to be, I think it's 80% for sure.
Can you maybe tell early on if you're having a good day or a bad day? And if you're having a bad day, how hard is it to mentally tell yourself, hey, we got to do better. Maybe we had a bad first or second frame, but let's pick it up and get better from here.
Well, the mentality I tend to take, it's like just take it shot by shot. If you had a good shot, okay, good. But now you have to do the same thing for the other one. Don't take it like, oh, I have 3 bad shots, I'm just having a bad day. I don't like that mentality. I think it's kind of like a giving up mentality since the beginning. And you're setting up your mind that, oh, no, I'm going to be bad the next day. I believe that everything is shot by shot. Every shot is different. So that's how I play. I normally try to think.
And is that something that you can work on in practice?
Yes, I believe so. I used to be kind of like really negative, and I tend to get really angry. But I really saw that it never took me anywhere. It just made me worse than just start to have like a negative thinking. So I decided to just take it shot by shot and just practice that. I already know what I'm doing. I have practice. So I'm just gonna shoot and think the best, hope for the best, I guess.
and bowling is such a routine-based sport. You try to go up there and replicate the same thing over and over and over again. So how does that come into how you guys practicing that routine versus maybe practicing certain situational bowling?
Well, we tend to practice our angles, different place to where to like throw the ball, because there's a lot of factors that come into like the oil and the type of ball you're using, the material the ball is made of, the angle the ball is hitting the pins. It just everything it involves into a good shot. So we kind of practice all the angles, our posture whenever we finish. If we have a good posture when we end, that will help our hand, our ball roll, everything. It's kind of just repetition.
How much have you learned since joining the Jennies Bowling team? Because you said really you were just kind of in a recreational league, and now you come here, you're on this collegiate team, practicing, playing just about every day. What are some things about bowling that you've learned in the last couple of years?
I have learned so many things. I was not really a theoric bowler. I didn't know like my ball is drilled that way and like I need to stand here and shot it there. I just heard my teammates like saying numbers and I was so confused. I was like, I don't know what you're saying. so kind of like Ron really helped me with that one. Or my teammates like helped me like, hey Jackie, where are you looking? And I just come back and I'll be like, I don't know. And then they kind of like send me like, hey, so you can have a better idea where your ball is going through. Just see the lines and stuff. I used to see them, but not really take attention to them, pay attention to them. So it kind of, I learned a lot about that. I learned how the balls are drilled. How like collegiate bowling is in comparison to international bowling. Because I used to play for Team Mexico several years, so it was so different when I came here.
What were some of the differences between international bowling and collegiate bowling?
International bowling is more kind of like individual.
Okay.
We do play like, we play singles, doubles, teams, but at the end, it's single outcome. You have the final event. That it's singles, it counts singles. So everything you did, it will count at the end as your own personal score. So it's kind of like a single thing. And when I came here, everything's about a team. So it was kind of hard at the beginning because I was kind of like individual bowler. I knew how to play as a team, but I was not only focused in playing as a team. Now it's only team, and we do everything you do is better. What is better for the team?
And now there may be people listening who haven't followed much bowling, at least at the collegiate level. So typically, you have a 3-day event. You do Friday what's called Baker style matches.
Baker.
And tell us about those. What are those like? What's the format of that?
Okay, Baker can be kind of complicated. So we play. There's five persons bowling in one single game. So each one plays 2 frames. So if I'm first, I'll be 1 and 6. The second
Okay.
will be 2 and 7, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how Baker works. And we normally play a match. It's kind of like 5 games of Baker, and that
Mm-hmm.
counts like one match.
Okay. And then Saturday you get kind of into more traditional style games. What's the format of that?
For traditionals, we all of them are 5. We always play 5. There's
Mm-hmm.
always 5 playing, and we all get our own game.
Everyone
But
bowls 10 frames.
yeah, kind of individually, but group. It's kind of like
Right.
there's five games, and we get the overall, and we only play 5 of those.
Okay. And that's all. You also get individual totals for tournaments
Yeah.
to
Yes.
see your individual winner average. 230 something like that. That's where they get those numbers from, as those traditional games, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
And then Sunday you go into
Match
a
play.
completely different thing. You go into match play, a bracket. It's like a March Madness type thing. Double elimination, typically.
Yeah.
Right.
Normally it's double. We do Baker for
You do
those
Baker,
ones.
double elimination
And
Baker games.
And I think it's for that normally it's best of 7. So if you win
Mhm.
4, you win. That's how
And
we
you
play
move
it. You
on.
can lose the first 4 and you're out, but you can go up to 7 matches.
Right.
So that's basically it. And normally, yeah, it's kind of like double elimination. It goes one. It depends on the tournament, but normally they do one goes against like the
Sure.
10th,
Yeah.
and then like that. So we get the final ones.
And which style do you kind of prefer? What do you like to play, personally?
I kind of like way more traditional games than
I
Baker.
mean, you get the full
The full,
10
yeah.
frames.
I don't feel the pressure like, oh, if I do this wrong, I'm gonna screw the team. Even though I'm gonna do it, but I feel I can have more time to bring it up again. Not I only
Right.
have 2 shots and that's it.
Yeah. It's a lot more pressure, and
Y-
then
yeah.
if you do have a bad shot, you're not only hurting yourself, but you're hurting the
The whole
4 other people
team.
on the team. So
Yeah, it's
definitely a lot of pressure there. What is the mentality when playing Baker? You said bowling 80% mental. Is there a big difference in the mental aspect between Baker and traditional style games?
Yes, I think Baker is you have way more pressure at Baker because you only have 2 shots and that's it. You either you do them well or not. It's up to you because it's gonna be part of the outcome of the
Mhm.
final score. So I believe Baker will be the biggest one.
Now, something you said earlier is that Raquel told you that Coach Holmes was looking for a left-handed bowler.
Mhm.
What is the difference between being left-handed and right-handed when it comes to bowling? Why would he look for a specific left-handed bowler?
Well, normally kind of 80%, 85% of the bowlers are right-handed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of weird to have a left-handed bowler. It really comes into it can be a good thing and like a blessing or a curse. It's only the side of the lane you play. It can either be if you know how to play that game, nobody's gonna move you the oil for you. You're gonna be there all the time. And on the other hand, if you're right-handed, you have to be moving because everybody's playing the same way,
Mm-hmm.
and the oil just is gonna open at some point, and you have to be moving. And for left-handed players, that doesn't happen really often. I don't tend to move that much.
Very, very interesting is that you don't just you imagine everyone just kind of playing on the same lane.
Yeah.
Because that's how most people do it bowling. You don't think about the advantages of being a left-handed bowler compared to a right-handed bowler like that. So I want to go back once more to you being from Mexico and being you've been here for 4 years now.
Yeah, this is my
This
fourth
is your
year.
this is your 4th year.
Mhm.
What are some of the challenges that you've had as an international student athlete?
And I mean the language barrier, of course. Sometimes I can tend to like mispronounce stuff a lot, or my way of saying stuff. It's kind of like I just instantly translating from Spanish to English, and kind of the order is not right, and kind of like my teammates make fun of me. But I don't take it like personal. I just tell him like, "Oh, help me!" Like if I'm saying something wrong, just tell me.
Just
It's
let me know,
fine. I don't take anything personally. Something that really helped me a lot is I became really close friends with Laia Gonzalez from track team. So we both speak the same language. We live together, so it's way easier to communicate because we both speak Spanish. So we're really close to that. Also, my teammates were really supportive with me. I never had a bad moment where I had to like struggle with talking or something. It's just getting used to a different culture.
Sure. Well, I think you're doing a great job speaking here today. I don't think I wouldn't think that you've had any problems learning or speaking English. And, I would think that you've been speaking it for probably almost since you were a young kid.
Well, sometimes I kind of mispronounce a lot of stuff. New words I try to not show my accent that much because sometimes can be really strong. But I just like to listen how the words are pronounced and try to like mimic it. But I knew English before, so that helped me a lot.
Sure.
And here it's just kind of like if you have to talk or you're gonna starve yourself, be lonely because you're gonna have no friends. That's basically the thing that it's kind of like you're here and you have to adapt to their culture. So that's how I thought it. I'm here and I need to talk their language.
Now you mentioned Laia. She's from Barcelona, Spain. She's on the track team. Track team has a number of international student athletes. In addition to Laia, have you made friends with maybe any more international student athletes, whether it's through her or through maybe programs on campus?
I have a lot of friends that are international, but they're not athletes. I don't know. Me and her are always together, so we don't know that much about anyone. Probably, she knows a lot of. She talks about Vincent, and then I forgot Goodwin.
Chris Goodwin from New Zealand.
She talks about them, and she says they're not really close. It's such like a big team.
Right,
that you cannot be close to everyone.
Yeah, there's 100 kids on the track team compared to the bowling team, because
we're
about 20.
Yeah, I think she knows more of my friends in the bowling team than I know about their track friends. I know Destiny, Nash. Yeah. I call her Cricket, so we say hi sometimes, but that's about it. We don't. It's basically me and her most of the time.
Now, everyone has bowled before. Everyone knows how to bowl, but not everyone knows how to bowl well or properly. So, do you have any insider tricks? What's something you could tell us that's instantly going to improve, just some regular recreational bowler's game right away?
I will say look in the middle arrow, the biggest arrow on the lane, the one in the middle, and try to shoot it through there. That will give you 8 or more.
That's it? Your big trick is throw it down the middle?
Yeah, that's if you're gonna use a bowl from normally plastic bowls, they don't try to curve. So you have to go straight, and I think that's the best thing I can tell you. Just go through the middle, and you will get more than 8 pins. All
right, for those bowlers out there, just throw it straight down the middle. And Jackie says you're gonna get 8 or more, guaranteed.
Well, we don't know that, but I will tell you, 8 or better. 8 or better, yeah, I will say 8 or better. We don't know the spotting of the pins. Probably will be a split, but it'll be 8 or better.
All right. Jackie, this has been a lot of fun, very informative. I feel I've learned a lot about you and about the sport of bowling. Thanks for coming on. I'll give you the final word. Anything that you would like to add?
Well, thanks for having me here. I had a lot of fun.
Are you on social media? Where can people follow you at?
Oh, yeah, my Instagram is Jackie Gum, because of my last names. Jackie Gum, Gum.
Jackie Gum on Instagram. That's going to do it for episode 10 of the Roll Stable podcast. We will be back next semester with more episodes. If you want to go back and listen to any others from this fall, you can find them all online at ucmathletics.com/podcasts, on Spotify, and the video podcasts are all on the UCM Athletics YouTube page. For Jackie Garcia-Ulloa, producer engineer Tony Manzo, I'm Joe Hoffman. Thanks for listening. Have a great holiday. See you next year.